Hello, folks. Thanks for joining me again. Are you ready to go full throttle down the highway of terror? Well, I should hope so, you prick. Tonight's movie is about a boy who sheds his skin and goes on a slimy murder spree in a small hick town. It's a charming little ditty called The Beast Within. The movie opens up down in Mississippi in 1964. I don't know about you, but I'm already craving a nice plate of grits with all the fixins. Down in this backwater burg, a newlywed couple are heading to their honeymoon destination for the night. The man wants to impale his new bride on his nice 7-inch pole of throbbing manhood. They're smiling and happy until they end up getting stuck in a muddy ditch out in the middle of a dark country road. The husband leaves his fetching wife in the car, and he tells her to lock the fucking doors. After all, the last thing he wants is for anyone to deflower her before he gets his chance to bend her over the wash basin. All he's got to do is walk down the road to a gas station and call for a tow. Unfortunately, someone or something attacks and rapes the poor broad while the hubby is gone. When he returns with the tow truck, he finds his defiled new bride lying bloody and disheveled in the woods. You can probably guess what happens next if you've got half a brain. The story picks up 17 years later, and we find out that the ravaged dame was inseminated by her attacker, and she gave birth to a son named Michael. This kid has a fat doughboy-looking face and teeth that remind me of Austin Powers. Close your fucking mouth, dipshit. You're making me sick. Anyway, Michael is suffering from a mysterious ailment that is rapidly killing his fat ass. The doctors are completely baffled and put the fucking boy on life support. Since there is a great possibility that Michael's critical condition is a genetic issue, the loving mommy and daddy head back to the town of Nioba to look for clues about that dreadful night 17 years earlier. And wouldn't you know it, Michael starts to make nighttime excursions to the same town, and he's not there to exchange pleasantries with the locals. No, he's there to rip some motherfuckers to bloody pieces and turn the quiet little town upside down. He's driven by a powerful force deep within, a force that will eventually show itself to be some kind of fucked up amalgamation of human and cicada. Why is Michael tearing people apart? Well, it turns out that the town judge, undertaker, and newspaper editor all colluded to cover up a heinous crime in the town's past. A crime that involved the repugnant torture of his real daddy, a half-man, half-insect, but all rapist by the name of Billy Connors. Old Billy was locked in a root cellar and force-fed dead human flesh until he somehow learned how to morph into a fucking bug. Makes a lot of sense, huh? Well, regardless of zany plot holes, Billy lives on inside of his portly son Michael, and the carnage is just ramping up. The first sorry sap on the kill list is the newspaper guy. Now this one kind of annoys me because this guy seemed like a nice good old boy, and all he was trying to do was offer Michael a freshly made hamburger. Hell, he might have even gave him a blowjob if he played his fucking cards right. But instead of being appreciative, Michael turns on the guy like a savage animal and tears his asshole asunder. After stumbling away from that sordid scene, he meets a cute little blonde cupcake named Amanda. He takes an instant shine to Amanda, and she seems to like him too. I don't know why, since he's fucking ugly. But anyway, her paw is a mean son of a bitch, and he doesn't want any half-wit buffoon like Michael laying his paws on her hot body. That's his goddamn daughter, and by God, that's his fucking property. But the beast inside of Michael is growing stronger by the day, and Amanda's tyrannical father is the least of his worries. The impulse to kill is becoming too strong to contain, and the body count continues to climb. The local undertaker gets embalmed alive. A bald prick gets his cue ball head pulled off in a glorious decap sequence, and one unlucky bum gets thrown on a power grid and fried up like bacon grease on a Kentucky skillet. It's a down-home countrified massacre, so grab your popcorn and enjoy some vintage slaughter. The Beast Within is a highly effective monster movie, and despite its shortcomings, it offers up plenty of high-quality, ghoulish mayhem. It was directed by Philippe Mora, and this was his first and definitely best horror picture. After this one, he directed two more terror flicks, the subpar Howling 2 and Howling 3. Say what you will about those two, they sure as hell don't hold a candle to The Beast Within on the horror charts, and that's for goddamn sure. Let's start with the opening piano strains by composer Les Baxter. It's doomy and brooding, and sets an appropriate tone right from the jump. There's a real heavy sound to the piano motif. Unfortunately, the music tends to go off on old-timey orchestral tangents that sound cheesy here and there, like something out of the goddamn 50s. If I were the director, I would have reminded Les Baxter that it's the 80s now. Cut that goofy shit out and stop fucking up the score, you dumbass. But overall, I'd still give the music a solid B+. The great Tom Holland wrote the overly complicated screenplay, and this was an early credit for him. He'd follow this script up with other cool horror stuff like the excellent Psycho 2 and the mean-spirited sleaze classic Scream for Help. Of course, we all know he'd later hit legend status with Fright Night and Child's Play. The convoluted nature of the Beast screenplay can't be entirely blamed on him, as he was undoubtedly hampered by the source material, a novel of the same name by Edward Levy. On the special makeup effects front, Thomas Berman gives a master class on how to do a kick-ass transformation sequence. Towards the end of the film, Michael fully transmogrifies into some kind of revolting cicada monster, and it's pulled off in a jaw-dropping display of technical wizardry. This scene is shot and edited to near perfection, and the finished sequence is a thing of rapturous beauty. In the early 80s, bladder effects were a popular craze thanks to flicks like American Werewolf in London and The Howling. And since audiences were eating this shit up like crazy, it was only natural for movie studios to stand up and take notice. Well, this movie is like the cherry on top of the bladder effects sundae, and Tom Berman goes above and beyond the call of duty to help create a truly pivotal moment in horror film history. If you haven't seen The Beast Within yet, then rectify that situation immediately. It's got everything an 80s horror fan could ever want, and then some, and that's the bottom line.